Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics here at the Hindu with me, Nistula Hebbar, where we unpack the news making the headlines in domestic politics. Now, last week was huge in terms of developments in the ongoing Karnataka Assembly with manifestos of both the BJP and the Congress getting out and the poll campaign basically taking off again from there and Prime Minister Narendra Modi streaking a campaign blitzkrieg across the state. Last week also saw Nationalist Congress Party leader Sharad Pawar resign from his position as party chief and appoint a committee from within the party to search for his replacements. There's a lot of talk happening about getting him to withdraw his resignation and how this might be connected. His resignation might be connected to rumors that his nephew and former Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, was negotiating with the BJP to join the NDA. Now, all of these developments will unfold in terms of some sort of a reckoning over the next week or so. And we will, return to these issues as and when that happens. What we look at this week is the violence that has happened in Manipur. And which has resulted in the army, air force, paramilitary being deployed in the state. Home Minister Amit Shah had to cancel his campaign visits to Karnataka in order to kind of monitor the situation in India's northeastern state of Manipur and the troubles of Biren Singh, Chief Minister of the state, who had to issue shoot-at-sight orders in order to control the violence that had erupted in that state. Now, that violence till now, there's no really concrete figures as of the time of this taping of how many people died and how many were injured. But it is being said that over 9,000 people in that tiny state have been basically displaced. And Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, in fact, went on record and said that yes, a lot of Manipuris have crossed over to his state and that he shall be doing everything to take care of the displaced population of Manipur. Now, why did violence break out in Manipur? What was the reason for this violence? Now, the immediate trigger for the violence was a tribal solidarity march on Wednesday, and that resulted in riots and killings and central paramilitary forces and army as well as air force being deployed in the state. Now, the reasons behind the march itself were festering issues that need to be understood in terms of the state's topography and demography. Now, why do I say topography? Now, Manipur consists of around 16 districts. The state has a distinct valley versus hill kind of a divide. There's Imphal Valley and then there are the hill districts. So, the Imphal Valley is dominated by the Meiteis, who are largely Hindu and are not tribal as of definition. The hill districts are dominated by Naga and Kuki tribes. They are largely Christians, and the Churachandrapur Imphal Road, which saw the most violence, is among the hill districts. The Kukis and the Nagas, as I said before, are largely Christians, and the Kukis themselves dominate 4 of the hill districts of the 16 districts of the state. Meiteis are around 53% of the entire population of the state, but occupy about 10% of the land area of Manipur. Manipur is home to 35 tribes, mostly Naga or Kuki. Now, the valley is the Imphal Valley, as I said, populated largely by the Meiteis. It's the most populated part of the state, as it has not only people from the tribal belt, but also migrants from other parts of the country. The rest of the population is scattered over 90% of the land area in the hill districts. But these districts also have reserve forests. Now, the Manipur High Court in April had directed the state government to consider within 4 weeks the request of the Meitei community to be included in the scheduled tribes list. The court had asked that the recommendation be sent to the center for its consideration once the state government kind of prepares a report for the same. Kuki organizations held a tribal solidarity march on Wednesday opposing this. They protested this move to include Meiteis in the ST category, and violence spiraled after the march, so much so that a BJP MLA, who's also a tribal, was critically injured in that violence. He's likely to be flown down to Delhi for treatment. Now, cookies are blaming Chief Minister Biren Singh, who is a Meiteis, for the violence. But the Meiteis themselves also have grievances in this situation. Now, Meiteis are saying that there should be an NRC in Manipur as well, like in Assam, with the base year of 1951 being made, because they say that Manipur was witnessing a sudden population surge with a growth rate of 24.5% against the national average of 17.64%. They said that this was an abnormal surge and the mushrooming of villages was being noticed in the hill areas, which are largely tribal areas. Now, they said that this cannot be explained by a natural birth and the natural cycle of population, but is attributed to migration from neighboring countries, specifically Burma, because of the military junta there and the violence happening against minorities in that country. A lot of the cookies are trying to get into India. Now, Mizoram has kind of taken in some of them and is trying to handle the issue in that area. But Manipur has had a very, very strict policy of blocking the border, not allowing anybody to enter. But the Meiteis are saying that people are entering and entering illegally through the Myanmar border, and they are also occupying a forest area. So Manipur government had kind of initiated the clearing of illegal settlements in the reserve forest areas. And Meiteis say it was in all areas, but there are some people who say that these were just in cookie areas. Now, in a story broken by the Hindu last month, in fact, by yours truly, certain MLAs of the ruling BJP belonging largely to the cookie community had come to Delhi to protest what they termed the dictatorial attitude of Mr. Singh, the chief minister. Now, as I said before, the cookies have their grievances, the Meiteis have their grievances. Mr. Biren Singh has done an eviction drive. He's blocked the border. He has also suspended the SU agreement. The SU agreement relates to suspension of operations against the cookie insurgent groups in that area, in the hill areas. This agreement was done in 2008 and it has been now suspended. So therefore, paramilitary and police force are also cracking down in cookie areas, and basically there's a lot of presence of the military there. So that is also creating a lot of problems locally. So the cookie local population went to their MLAs, some of whom are from BJP, and said, look, you need to help us out. You need to kind of tell the government, which is being headed by your party, that you need to kind of slow down, because we are facing a lot of problems from the border, from here, from there. Things have to be looked at sensitively. But it seems that the local BJP MLAs were not given a hearing, and therefore they came to Delhi to talk to the BJP High Command about all these things, about trying to get their issues looked at. So it is basically a lot of hurt feelings on both sides, which led to this conflagration. And clearly, Biren Singh is facing problems not just from within his own party and also out of it. So now in India's sensitive northeast, the tyranny of distance can mean that Delhi wakes up when conflagrations assume a threatening look. As of now, the armed forces have managed to control the violence, but that cannot be the solution to the issue. This requires a dexterous political negotiation. Will that happen? We will keep an eye on beautiful Manipur and also try and get back to you as and when things move forward politically. This is all I have for you this week. I shall see you next week.